welcome to Squeaky Voice of Go-Go with Conan O'Brien. I'm here, your host. I'm Conan O'Brien. And welcome to Squeaky Voice of Go-Go. I'm here with my guest. Today, our guest is Kip from Bosom Buddies. How you doing, Kip?
Oh, good. You guys have rescheduled me so many times to come on the show. From back before the premiere of Bosom Buddies, but I'm so glad I can finally make it on tonight.
Welcome to Squeaky Voice of Go-Go. Well, so we have to ask about your voice. Why is your voice so squeaky?
I just never...
Conan O'Brien. Go ahead.
I just never went through puberty. It's a hormone thing.
Oh, wow. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with our guest, Kip from Bosom Buddies. I'm Conan O'Brien.
What's up? How's it going?
Good. That kind of sounded like a weird Mr. Meeseeks.
Yeah, that's fair. I get what you mean. Yeah, I get what you mean. What if we called our fans, we call the fans the Happuccinos. What if we started calling fans the Bosom Buddies?
I think that would go really well.
Oh, yeah, he calls it the Bosom Buddies because he... Well, it's better to not explain it, really. Just don't even start, really. Man, I don't know, man. What's up? I'm not feeling so good, man. I'm feeling very bad. Before the show, I was lost in thought, and I told you, I think, right? I was like, I'm trying to remember what I had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling so bad, and I know I ate. It's not like I haven't eaten anything today. If I didn't eat anything today, I would feel really bad. But I have eaten. I remembered eating, but I don't remember what. And I was trying to remember what I was eating, and then I was like, oh yeah, I went to 7-Eleven, and I got an order of. Have I talked about these on the podcast, Kevin? An order of the glazed cheesy barbecue meatballs. Have I told you about these?
No.
Some 7-Elevens, and 7-Eleven is going through a contraction in their like branded food items. So you'll see their sandwiches shifting, and a lot of the items that were like 7-Eleven brand have changed. And so who knows? And part of that is getting rid of some hot items. But so a lot of places don't have this anymore because it's not a hot seller. But you could get a skewer, a pointed stick with I want to say about 5 meatballs on it at 7-Eleven. And it's called the cheesy barbecue glazed meatballs. And they taste kind of like pizza. And they do have a vague barbecue taste to them because they're barbecue glazed. Although the barbecue glaze is basically like baked off of it. It's not like if you dipped a meatball in like some sauce. It's not like that. It just has this kind of a reddish tint to the skin of the meatball as a result of this glazing process. But it's honestly surprisingly good. They're pretty expensive. I want to say they're like $2.50 for a stick, which is way overpriced. There's too much money. But and also when you look at them, Kevin, they look like the worst thing on the menu, or they look like the worst thing in the whole place. See, when you bite it, Kevin has a picture up, and you can see there's pockets of cheese. When you bite it, you do not see cheese like that. That does not happen. And you can't really taste the cheese other than, like I said, they have this vaguely pizza taste to them. And I think the pizza taste maybe is in part due to cheese, But yes, the glazed cheesy barbecue meatballs. Nana didn't make these, but dang if they don't taste like she did. We've upgraded our meatball recipe to include savory pork, Italian seasonings, and then filled them with cheddar cheese before topping them off in a sweet barbecue sauce. 5 for $3. So there you go. So if you're wondering why I'm feeling bad, it's because I had one of those for breakfast. But that's not all. I also had a pitch black Mountain Dew, even better, and I had a king-sized Almond Joy. Which a king size almond joy, Kevin, is a little bit of a misnomer because an almond joy is already just these two mini candy bars in a thing, you know, and the king size almond jar is simply four of them. So, you know, it's good though. Fucking almond joys are good. You like almond joys or Mounds better?
Depends on my mood. I'll take either, really.
What mood is a Mounds mood for Kevin? You asshole, you see I caught you in your fucking tracks. You're in my web now. What's a Mounds mood? That's the dark chocolate.
Yeah, I think I had there, like I'm because I'm hungry and I want to eat something that's gonna really fill me up. Where well wait, no, I'd say boy.
You want to be filled up, but you wouldn't want to eat an additional 4 almonds?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, yeah.
One's more for snacking, and one's more for I'm hungry.
I'm hungry, but I better not eat 4 almonds. Yeah. It's funny, yeah. Whatever. No, that makes sense. I I'll eat a Mounds, but I don't like a Mounds. My memory of Mounds is in Halloween. You get smashed to shit Mounds bars. Whereas the almond joys can be smashed, but they fare a lot better than the Mounds, which just look like someone just pressed their thumb right through the middle of it or something. But yeah. So that was my breakfast. And I don't know why I feel like shit right now, you know? That was only 7 hours ago.
Well, I woke up with a headache and tried ordering Taco Bell delivery, and the delivery driver just brought the drink and no food. So I missed out on lunch completely.
What was the drink?
Oh, their cherry twist thing. I forget what it's called now.
Like the freeze?
Yeah.
Thing? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So what have you eaten today then, huh?
Nothing.
I love food.
Nothing. And then I ordered on Instacart some Mountain Dew Pitch Black, and they were out of it, so they substituted instead Shasta Mountain Rush, which out of all of the fake Mountain Dews is probably the worst I have tried.
And to the listeners, you can see it looks like it's a ripoff of Mountain Dew. It looks very much like it's trying to look vaguely like Mountain Dew. I was actually surprised that the labeling, it's pretty cool looking. But
I had high hopes when I saw it, but tasting it, no. It's like kind of, it's not as much carbonation as Mountain Dew, but it's got just way less flavor to it. It's just sort of like soda water that they wave Mountain Dew nearby.
Yeah, this is going to be a hot take, so I'm getting ready to be raked over the coals by the internet, but I don't trust the offshoots of Mountain Dew, you know, the off-brand Mountain Dew. Give me an off-brand Dr. Pepper, you know, a million days out of the week, but I don't want to be fucking with the off-brand Mountain Dew. I mean, maybe just as a joke, but I don't think it's ever going to like really be like worth it, you know?
No, yeah, they're just not good. I don't think anyone's really managed to capture Mountain Dew. I've tried a bunch of them, and none of them are really. And you're right. For some reason, Dr. Pepper, everyone can just nail that flavor. But,
well, it's just, I think there's a lot of ways to do it well. You know, I think they're all doing different things, but it just works. Whereas I don't think it works as easily. I think, yeah, Mountain Dew's such a weird flavor because it was invented as a fucking Jack Daniels mixer. That was my most interesting fact in the world. You know, I'm trying to figure out party tricks. You have any party tricks, Kevin?
Party tricks?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't really do parties. Are you a party kind of guy?
No, I'm not. Party tricks are cool. Like you could be impressive, you know. You know, probably one of the only thing that I have that comes close is like a, you know, being able to, like the dream thing, which is not like I know the dream stuff offhand, but being able to look up the dream symbols and be like, hey, look at that dream. This is what, you know, it subconsciously breaks down to, you know. But so, okay. I don't know. You ever think about all those podcasts? They're like, you know what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the news of the week. It's crazy world. We got to talk about all the crazy things that happen, you know? What if our podcast was just that? I mean, it kind of is. But what if it was, you know, what if it's like, oh, we're looking at the the fucked up world, you know? What about that?
Yeah, let's do it. How do you want to start?
Well, I mean, there's the big news that happened this weekend. I don't know. It actually just recently broke, so I don't even know if you've caught this, Kevin, but it turns out Jeff Bezos is missing. Did you hear about this?
I have not, no.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is missing, and the feds have like completely raided Amazon headquarters. No one knows where Jeff Bezos is. It turns out that no one got any of that stuff. Like none of that stuff ever got delivered. Kevin,
that was a lot Amazon, of buildup, right? For that.
You know, yeah. Amazon, the company?
I've heard of them before, yeah.
Like kind of like a shipping company, you might say, almost. Online. Yeah, none of that stuff ever got delivered, Kevin. Turns out none of it got delivered. And I think the government wants answers. Which is why it's so crazy that Jeff Bezos is missing. You know, maybe he's gone to space. We can only dream, you know?
Yeah. I wonder about that guy sometimes, you know, because like there seems to be this like, if you're like a tech CEO, you go through this like stage where you start out being kind of a dork and then you try to like level up your appearance. Like you can see he tried doing that, and like Elon Musk tried doing that, and you know, he took a weird turn with the shaved head and looks like, you know, the KGB agent kind of. Mm-hmm. Did you get that vibe from him a little bit?
I mean, I get what you mean. Like, do you just mean like physically, or do you mean like, do you actually think that he was? No,
I think he just like, he's trying to like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. This kind of like, yeah. It's kind of like,
you know, sort of like a half Steve Jobs, half KGB agent kind of thing. Like, here, let me throw this up here. Hold on.
What? Where's the KG? I mean, the jacket. I guess
a little bit. You know, the shaved head. He's smiling here. He doesn't seem to normally smile like this. You know, he just seems to have this look of like he's trying to almost look like Putin a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He looks like an odd man. He's an odd man. I was just listening to fucking Blank Check, and they were talking about odd men. Oh, he's an odd man. I've been listening to Conan O'Brien podcast, Kevin. The Conan Needs a Friend. I never listened to it before now, but I was like, I'm out of podcasts. When you're out of podcasts, it's good to find a giant podcast, and then it's like I'm gonna be going through this for forever. But it's pretty good. I don't know. I never really watched. Did you ever watch Conan O'Brien, like the show? I never really watched like any talk shows or anything, really.
I mean, like when I was in high school, like, you know, early mid 90s kind of era, I watched him a lot then. But, you know, I grew up in a town where we only had 3 TV stations, so there wasn't a lot of choices, you know.
Yeah. My friends would talk about stuff like that, and I would like never know what they were watching and where exactly, like what channel it was on and stuff. And so I kind of like, I never watched SNL for that reason, but yeah, I missed Conan O'Brien. But listening to the podcast, you get a sense of humor, and like he was a writer on The Simpsons, and so you can feel his sense of humor, and then like think about like the old episodes of Simpsons that he wrote on, and been like, oh, you know, this was definitely like a character of his, or like his kind of joke or something, you know. So it's pretty interesting to listen to that. It's weird though, because he has Matt Gorley on his podcast as the producer, and he's always making fun of Matt Gorley, which is weird because Matt's so cool and great and awesome. And so it's funny for him to be like, you're a fucking. He makes fun of him for like dressing like a 1910s, you know, town crier or something. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good podcast. I don't know. You know, it's not a good podcast. It's fucking this. Jesus Christ. But it would be a lot whatever. I was gonna try and make a joke about how none of the packages got delivered again. But that's not what's gonna be good at all. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I saw there's this homeless lady that's vaguely near my house. She's north of my house. She's not like near my house, but when I go driving, sometimes I'll see her because she's in the same spot. And she sits on a mattress, just basically forever. I've basically only ever seen her on her mattress. I don't think I've ever seen her standing up or anything. I've sometimes seen her not there, which means, she has to like move around in some fashion occasionally. But yeah, I don't know. It's by a freeway. It's like it's off the freeway, but it's nearby. So it's this kind of no man's land zone a little bit, where trash kind of where people like dump garbage and stuff. And yeah, but just recently I drove by where she was, and someone put up this big colorful sign that it said she died during the last big storm, rest in peace, and stuff. And I was like, geez, that sucks. Because it's really hot all the time, in LA. It's warm and stuff. But these storms have been very cold and very wet, and when you're homeless, that's the thing. It's just really dangerous to live in the street. Just your health plummets, and you just die from living out there. It's just shit happens. Like I don't even know how to quantify it exactly, but a lot of people just die of heart failure, but not even necessarily because they're like like super unhealthy or whatever. I think just this added stress just starts to grind everything away and stuff, and then your health just disintegrates. But yeah, a lot of people just kind of die of heart failure as a result of various environmental stressors and stuff. But it sucked. And then like I drive by, it can't have been 3 days later, I don't know, and there has been like garbage sweeps or whatever, sanitation sweeps. You can see there's trash cans or trash bags and stuff lined up to show it. And it's like literally the first time I've seen that place ever swept up. And it's like, and they do it like within a week, within days of this memorial going up, and they take down and then throw out the memorial. And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. And it's like the place has been full of trash like for years. And, the lady's been living in one corner of this very large area. It's not like, it's this like row of a bunch of homeless people that's covered in trash. It's like this giant like field almost. And she lives in one corner of it, and the whole thing's a mess. The first time they clean it up, they're like getting rid of a monument. I'm like, just, I don't know, man. It really bummed me out. LA is doing weird homeless stuff right now. They're doing a lot of sweeps, getting people off the street by forcing them into these temporary housing programs, which would be good, but the temporary housing programs are very, very short term because it's cynical. It's not, none of this stuff is actually trying to help, because you can't force people. If you're trying to help, you can't force people to do anything. But they get cops there and they force them to sign stuff with the cops there. And the stuff they sign is like, we're going to go into this short-term housing. And to get into the short-term housing, you have to surrender all your property. You have to throw basically everything you own away. Like literally, like you maybe get like a backpack, but it's like less than any reasonable person, like less than, like, I don't know. What if, I'm not going to put like what's reasonable or not, but imagine if a homeless person had one wheelbarrow full of shit, right? Something, it would be completely feasible to dump that wheelbarrow of shit into their place that they're living. It's not garbage. It's not like mud. It's documents, it's medicine, it's important stuff. And they're being forced to legally like throw away and have destroyed the vast majority of their property to be put into these shelters. Sometimes they don't even get put in the shelter. So it's just like, oh, we truck someone out to fucking, I don't know, Pomona or something because we heard there's a thing. There's not. Okay, now you're here. We don't have transport for you back to where you were, the place where you used to live, the place where we destroyed all your stuff. But you're here now in Pomona. See ya, or whatever. So it's like, it's mostly just to kind of get them away, because the more established homeless people become, the more they kind of set up shelters, and the more you can see the more visible they become, So as the new government, the mayor wants to make a show of like, I'm helping the homeless. What that means is I'm making them less visible. But even the ones who do get successfully put into these programs, they're going to be out in June, I want to say, which, better than nothing or whatever. But I just think we gotta be thinking long term. And a lot of this stuff is really short term, and it feels like it's short term at the expense of long term, which is bad. I think with our situation, homelessness in LA, it's so bad, that we need to be doing like everything. So it's not like we shouldn't be doing that. We should only be doing this. We should be doing everything. But it seems like we're maybe not trying to, worry about supply side on housing, which is the big problem. I don't know. What, Kevin?
I just wonder, what do you think that, where should we start? I know you just said we should do everything, and I agree, but like, where do you think would make a meaningful impact?
I think the biggest thing is trying to just it's setting up partnerships with places that can allow low income housing. It's building new low income housing that's not shitty, that's not the fucking tiny homes, which LA's been building tiny homes, and again, it's like, fine, do that as well, but the tiny homes are also, all these communities, they're heavily policed in the sense that you're not allowed to come and go during certain hours. Again, you can't take or leave certain kinds of property. A lot of times you get patted down just to like enter and leave your apartment, and it's like you're not allowed to stand in the hallway and stuff. And so it's like it's like being in prison. It's just like in being in prison that you're supposed to clock in and out of almost, and you're not getting paid for. But it's these really weird situations. But so yeah, I think it is building more low income housing, but it's also just fucking, like spending money on, like giving money to people. Like, I think that's something I'm sure that happens here. It happens in San Francisco too. There's this really complicated system of vouchers to kind of like it's like a weird like ranked system of like help to get people placed in homes and stuff. And I don't know what we have out here, but you basically just need a lot more money pumped into that, because to the places there are that you could get people plugged into long term, they just need money, and instead they spend tons and tons of money like doing a survey or contracting a company to do a study or something, and it never goes anywhere, so it's like, just fucking spend the money on the actual thing. I think those are the kind of early directions you move on, because the building is always a longer term solution, but you need to do it. That's the big problem with California in general. Is we've had a problem with we're not having enough new construction for compounded decades now, and that's why there's a really compounded, obviously there's housing problems everywhere, but it's really compounded in California more than anywhere else. I don't know.
Wasn't there just recently some zoning statewide change in California where cities are no longer able to block a lot of developments that developers were trying to make for new housing? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know. I know that we try to vote for stuff like that progressively. I think liberals and progressives try really hard to push that sort of stuff because it is big picture and important stuff to move, and it's heavily resisted by NIMBYs and like homeowners lobbies generally. So it's hard to get stuff like that. So I haven't heard about that specifically, but there might have been a time where I do remember that, or remember when it was important or got passed or whatever, I don't remember specifically though. But zoning is the big thing, is because it's like fundamentally, it's like, even from a conservative perspective, like a Republican, it's like, I'm a person, I own property. I don't have a constitutional right to build a house on this property. I could build so many things on this property. It's my property. You're telling me I can't build, of all things, a house, or actually you can build a house. What I mean is really an apartment building. But you're telling me I can't just build housing on my property? That's fucking, don't tread on me, man. Like, come on. It's an unreasonable burden that we put on building housing because it's made that way by the NIMBY, the housing, the homeowners lobby, because a lot of people are like, hey, I have a house to live, but hey, it shouldn't just be a house to live. It should also print money for some reason. Because I decide to make my house print money, now no one else gets a house because houses have to print money. You can't just live in a house anymore.
The thing I think was weird about how we do things I didn't realize was weird until I traveled to other countries is that most other places in the world, in the middle of a residential like subdivision, there would be little corner shops all over the place. There'd be like a little pizza place in a corner, or there would be a little convenience store or whatever. And we don't really have that here. We have row after row of housing. And then on the edges, we put all the stuff. And if you don't live near the edge, there's just nothing you can walk to. There's no, you don't get outside of like maybe New York City and a few of the older cities, places where like there's a little deli and then above it, the shopkeeper lives in his apartment and stuff like that. You just can't do that legally in most cities here. And I think if we change that, that would also make a pretty big difference in just allowing not only more businesses to open up, but more residential to open up and making everything more walkable. Even if you do want to live in a suburban nightmare kind of subdivision, there still is something you could walk to.
Yeah, mixed use development is, I think, what they call that. Which, it's really good. It sets it up so you can have more organic communities and smaller spaces that don't require cars. Like, that's a big thing, is that the suburbs were like made as a reaction to the urban areas, right? And so, I don't want to live in the urban areas anymore, so we're going to build the suburbs and we're going to commute somehow into the urban areas from the suburbs, and that's luxury, baby. That's kind of how suburbs got designed, but intentionally that is like this really inefficient design, or maybe it's efficient on a macro level, but it creates really inefficient transportation problems, especially with cars, which are really inefficient. But it's like you have these giant pods of housing that have to move to these giant pods of commerce, or these giant pods of other commerce, is kind of how it happens. And that's going to make a lot of traffic and a lot of pollution and stuff. And you don't have to have it if you make things smaller, but that was the idea, is it's like we can have these massive living areas, and so it's these bigger things. But mixed use is really important. And again, it just comes back to the same thing. It's just let people build stuff. There's these new kinds of apartments being built. I can't remember what they're called. I want to say they're called like 4-in-1s or something, 5-in-1s. They've been criticized because they look ugly, although I think they look cool. They have a really cookie cutter design. That has like, because the thing is, it's based on like zoning law, or this is like construction requirements or something, but they have this big concrete base that sometimes goes a little underground for like a parking structure, and the base goes to the first floor, and that's the one of the 5-in-1 or whatever. And I could be getting this name way wrong, I can't remember, but the name is something clever that refers to the two parts of it. And then on top of that is a more wooden based structure, a more modern kind of lighter structure, and it can be 4 or 5 stories tall because it's built on this really solid giant foundation. And a lot of times they do have a lot of businesses at the bottom and then housing on the top, and then you can have a couple of them next to each other. There's a lot of like kind of luxurious kind of downtown housing that's being built like that in LA right now, and I'm sure other urban areas are getting more of that stuff. But yeah, the problem just comes down to zoning generally. It's hard to do that, and that's even bigger scale. But that's probably as close as America can come to it. Because the big thing is just you want infrastructure that moves away from cars, but our infrastructure is designed around cars. So we just had to bite the bullet and be like, we're going to just design this away from cars and like close down this street. And people will be like, you can't close that down. I drive on that. And you're like, not anymore, buddy. And everyone calls the government and the Supreme Court's like, it's unconstitutional to close down the road because the founding fathers didn't want that. They would have said Hollywood shouldn't be a road if that, I talked to Albert Abraham Lincoln, and he said I don't want that road closed, and so the Constitution, and I'm the SCOTUS, and people have to take us seriously, and none of us should be murdered in our sleep.
The thing I always thought was weird was whenever there have been proposals for like more mixed use development, the people who are opposed to it just come up with the craziest arguments against it. These total straw man arguments of like, well, if you allow this, then they're going to take away your cars. And then when they do that, you're going to have to show your ID to leave the district you live in. Unless you have a reason to leave, you can't. And, it's just these nonsense arguments against it, which makes me wonder why they're really so opposed to it in the first place.
It's because it infringes on the life they feel like they were buying with their house. They're like, oh, I wanted a quiet existence. Also, real quick, can we give a hand to Kevin for his amazing segue out of my violent spiral there? That was if you cut back and see how fast Kevin picked it up, I think his timing is incredible. But no, it's because I think it's just because it's conservative. Like, it's conservative politics, and so you can't defend it through rational means. Like, you simply have to defend it through lies, because you can't just say the truth, which is, I don't want that here. I liked it better before. That's all. Because the thing is, that's not a valid complaint unless you're in a pretty big majority, again, because it's coming down to other people's land. Why is it doesn't have to be convenient to you? Like, just because you bought, like, I don't know, I have this rant or whatever. This is really short. It's not even a full rant or whatever. But I just think, like, property ownership is like the stupidest thing in the world, because, like, it's just like made up. Like, none of us can own the earth, Like, it's a fucking giant fucking ball. You can't even fathom the size of it, But what people do is we draw these lines on the ground. We draw this box, and you build a house or whatever, but you draw a box on the ground, you draw a box in the dirt, and you sell it to somebody. You write on paper, you own this box of dirt, and you sell that person a box in the dirt, and they build a house there. And the first thing they do is start yelling at everyone, like, outside of their property, like outside their box, like outside of their house. They're being like, you can't drive here. You can't be parking here. It's like, bro, you bought the box. You don't get to tell people where they can and can't park outside of your box, but that's what people do. They become these assholes, and they start to police everything around their area. It's just this natural human instinct. And again, it's natural. And I think in a lot of circumstances, it's somewhat reasonable, if you think devil's advocate, a giant toxic company that loves poisoning the water or whatever, they buy the property, and it's like, well, we own the property, we can put our giant poisoners into here if we want. And then the people are like, well, you can't just do that, we've been living here for 30 years and you can't poison. It's like, well, we can, it's our property, so it's like, on the other side of it, you don't want everyone to do everything, but I think a lot of the review processes should probably be more environmental than anything else. I don't know, man. This is good, though. Kevin, I've been thinking about Tinder, going back on the apps. You ever go on the apps, Kevin?
No, I never did.
I've never figured out. I've been on the apps a little bit, but I've never figured out what to put on my profile.
What have you tried before?
Well, I'll tell you, and I'm sure you'll say, like, I don't get why this works, but I put the opening speech of Courage the Cowardly Dog, so, to wit, that is, abandoned as a pup, he was found by Muriel, who lives in the middle of nowhere with her husband Eustace Bang, but creepy stuff happens in nowhere. It's up to Spencer, not Courage, Spencer, to save his new home. So that was not working out for me.
I mean, the way I see it is,
that should work, though. Don't you think that would work? Shouldn't that work? I mean, I guess that would work. Who knows about Courage the Cowardly Dog? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. That would work on the person that is perfect for you, and that just means you haven't found that person yet.
Oh, there you go. I guess problem solved. We don't actually have to change the They add it all. That can't be right. That sounds wrong. That's not right. I think my phone might be my headphones might be charged enough to take them out of the charger, so I can stop looking as goofy as I do. But I guess I'll just leave it. So I was thinking about changing the. So can you hear me? Okay, I just pulled a cord and I thought I turned off all the sound. No, okay, I'm still audible. Okay. I was thinking about changing my Tinder profile, but I don't know what to change it to. Shouldn't I change it? Don't you think? Come on.
I mean,
even someone who likes courage, it's not necessarily gonna be amused by that. Maybe they'll be like, "Wow, this person's obsessed with Courage the Cowardly Dog."
I guess what defines the perfect person for you that you might find on an app like this?
Probably money. I want someone who's really rich.
Okay. Any other qualities?
Maybe a big yard. I like to stretch my legs, run around, a nice yard.
So in their box of dirt, you want to be able to go play.
I just want to stretch my legs. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess you need a profile that that sums these things up here. Money and a yard for you to play in.
What if I get some clothes that make me look kind of more like a gardener, and I take some photos with plants, and flowers and stuff, and I could be like, "Do you have a big yard?" I'm the guy for you.
I think you're just going to end up finding people who want you to fix things. Then
that could be fun. It could be fun to learn. That could be a fun hijinks. I told this story to my friend. I told this is complete non sequitur, but I told this story to my friend, and he said I should write this into a TV. We should write this into a TV show, which I think is a good idea. But I don't know. I was at the weed store. I was at the weed store, and I was talking about terpenes to the girl, because we were talking about strains that gave us headaches. I was like, this one gives me a headache. And she was like, oh, this other strain gives me a headache. So I know what you talked about. And I was like, yeah, it's the terpenes. She's like, yeah, terpenes, science. We were talking about science. And then I was like, oh, and then she was like, yeah, medicine affects people differently and stuff. And I was like, yeah, someday we're gonna figure out why medicine affects people differently. And then it's gonna open up this new unknown frontier of medicine. We're going to be able to solve all these problems. And then she was like, yeah. Clearly not, I don't know. Suddenly I was like, I made it weird, bringing that up. And I was just like, okay. And it's not I was wasting time. It was during the transaction. It's not like I was waiting to leave and wasting her time or whatever. But whatever. I shouldn't have told that story. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. What about my Tinder, though? Come on. Well, we got to figure it out. What if it's something hey, if you like to swing, then call me the playground. That's right. I love to play ball. I'm an active guy with an active mind. You
were going to find a lot of swingers that suddenly want to be your friend.
That's not too bad. Well, what about big time Hollywood mover and shaker?
Yeah.
I make Judd Apatow look like someone else. Maybe if I can include that pause, it could be really good. Okay, so for Hinge is an app that has some audio, and so maybe that could be a joke. So for Hinge, you put a text to label the audio, and so the text should be a good joke or my favorite joke, and that could be all or something like that, or something. You got to set it up somehow. I didn't set it up properly, but yeah, then it's
I think your whole profile needs to be a filter to rule out the people that you don't want contacting you, so right. You need to think about who you're trying to attract.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to disagree with you, but just to push back a little bit. I have used these apps before, and no one connects with me at all. Like, not a single person. Even when you pay money, there's a thing you can pay money. So, because the thing is, you have to like each other, right? And so, if you don't like them, but they like you, you're not going to see that, you know? So, but there's a thing you could pay money, and then you don't even have to like the person. You could just see if they liked you on the app. And even when I paid the money, it's like, yeah, no one is in. So I don't even know that I need to shield people out. Like, maybe maybe those standards are too high, you know?
Or you filtered out everybody, you know? So we need to tweak this a little bit, you know? And
yes.
I think too, I've helped other people with their Tinder profiles and stuff, you know?
Wow.
We gotta look at what your pictures are, because that's the thing people look at first.
That's honestly, and it's not like there's a lot of things I've done wrong, but honestly, I think if I really want to succeed, I need to like go on a picture mission, like get different wardrobes and do like different activities to like get these pictures, because I don't have pictures. I don't take pictures of myself, and the people I hang out with coincidentally tend not to be people who take a lot of pictures. You know, it's not like I've never taken pictures. It's just, it's really de-emphasized in a lot of my routines relative to a lot of people I see, you know, especially with social media and people just post stuff. I just don't as much, you know? So I got to go and take a bunch of pictures. That's a big one. But yeah, what if it's like I'm a cultured intellectual looking for same. I have a Honda CRV and I know how to use it. And in my free time, I like to pet my cat. Winking face emoji. What do you think about that?
I don't know who you're targeting such a specific audience there.
What specific audience am I targeting?
I don't know. I don't even know what archetype that is going to pull in, but
specific. It's too specific.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, okay. It's like asking for, it's like, yeah, you're trying to put too many filters, and then it's like, yeah, nothing is like that. It's crazy. There's no like Mexican, Icelandic food or whatever, you know. Okay.
I mean, if you look at trying to get the initial match as like the current stumbling block, I would double down on whatever you can to get as much attention as you can possible, you know, like throw a picture of you in from on Community or something, you know, or that, you know, on stage where Jason Sudeikis is taking a picture of you, you know, and stuff like that. Like, throw stuff like that in there that's going to make people go, oh, this guy's a big deal. And then they're going to read your profile.
I've had a picture on stage. It's maybe not the best stuff, but also in the stage, I'm usually like off in the corner sitting in a chair. So it's not super exciting looking, but I've had pictures like that. And I don't know. I felt like they weren't going over well. And so I but yeah, okay, I could maybe just something better in that vein instead. But I gotta say, I do like this mini game of just coming up with the worst, just running Kevin by the worst absolute ideas for Tinder profiles, you know?
You know what we should do? We should have everyone go on our subreddit and post their ideas for a profile, you know, or some pictures of you. Like, have them go and grab pictures that they think would be great, post them in our subreddit, and then we'll next week review what they did.
Hey, I'm not asking for you guys to do that, but if you want to do that, you know, go ahead. But okay. What about I put just a gym, and then in parentheses, not Jim Jordan, LOL, you know, end parentheses. And then Jim Jordan is spelled with a J, you know, GYM. Because yeah. And then end parentheses, looking for his Pam. And then in parentheses put not the cooking spray, LOL. And then in brackets put, although the cooking spray is fine, I use it all the time. And then put period. And then put, I like to walk, to run, and skateboarding. Period. Send one. What about that?
I mean, I got to admit, if I was a single woman, I would totally match with you just based off of the insanity of that.
Send one. Okay, so let me write that down. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Shit, why is my notes app not working? What the fuck's going on? It's trying to pull up my phone notes app, which is not synced. Okay, I'm gonna have to go listen to the podcast later. Okay, I got one more for you. I got one more for you, Kevin.
Okay.
All right, how about this? Okay. What's up? What's up, bitches? I'm here to respect women. What's up, bitches? I'm here to respect women and forge deep and passionate connections. And yes, I do. What about that? You like that?
I mean, that's a little stronger. A little bit more assertive. I'm not saying no to that one. I'm not sure what kind of matches you'll get with that, though.
Okay, so what about what's up, bitches? I'm here to respect women and destroy capitalism. What about that? Go a little more leftist with it.
I mean, maybe. My first take on that would be that you were being sarcastic there.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe we can get Tinder to implement a new feature where if someone swipes no on me, I actually can video call them really quick and say and tell them like that this technically means that you don't respect women because my profile said I like that and you swiped against it, so you actually don't respect women. And then the video call ends, and I think that could be a cool feature to add to Oh boy, I'm having a good time. I'm sorry, Kevin. Are you doing okay, Kevin?
I'm amazed. Yeah, I didn't know I needed this in my life.
Hey man, sometimes we're having a good show. You know what else you didn't need in your life is soda. And no, I'm not talking about the soda we're going to try later on in the episode. I'm talking about, how podcasts have fucking segments? I actually came up with a segment, and I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but I did put thought into it. It's time for the Mountain Dew quiz. Are you ready, Kevin, for the Mountain Dew quiz?
I'm ready.
Oh my God. I feel like a fucking podcaster in a way I've never felt in my life before. That I have a mini game that I can play with another person on the podcast. Holy shit. Okay. So here's how the Mountain Dew quiz works. I'm going to say the name of a Mountain Dew product, and it can be a Mountain Dew soda, or it could be like an offshoot, like one of their kind of other products that they've made. They've made like energy stuff, whatever. And I might not say like it's energy drink. I might just say the flavory part. And you have to tell me if it's real or fake, because some of these I will make up. And we're going to be using some ridiculous ones. Okay, so are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. We're going to start easy. Mountain Dew, Darth Dew.
Wait, so I'm supposed to say whether that's a real thing or not?
Real or fake?
I'm going to say that's fake.
Nope. Real. A limited production tangy grape Slurpee flavor available at 7-Eleven stores as part of our promotion for the theatrical release of Star Wars Episode 3. I guess I should reveal that this is on the Wikipedia of the Mountain Dew flavors and varieties. They just have a bunch of different shit. They're kind of gone by things or by like category, but I'm just kind of like scrolling randomly around for the crazy ones, Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right. How about this? No, this one's better. Wait, no, I can't say either of these because that's going to give away whether or not it's real, because it probably is if it's a better one I'm looking at. Okay. All right. This one's going to be called Charged Orange Storm. Charged Orange Storm.
That's got to be fake.
Nope, that's a real one. It's a Game Fuel, formerly Amp Game Fuel. Charged Orange Storm. An orange variant launched as Amp Game Fuel in 2019 with the launch of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This is fun, right? Isn't this fun?
I can't believe how bad I am at this, but yes.
Okay. I got another one for you. This one is Mountain Dew Mint Berry Extreme.
Mint berry. That has to be fake. That's to be
fake. Yeah, that's fake.
They all sound fake.
they that one was fake though. That was fake. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
Wait, so you only got one of these right so far, right?
Yes.
You're at one
out of three.
Okay. Okay, it's Mountain Dew Mountain Dew Courageous Sherbet.
Courageous Sherbet? That has to be fake. It has to be.
A rainbow sherbet variant, also available in zero sugar. Released for a limited time, co-branded with internet streamer Courage JD. So, if you, go ahead.
How did I not hear about any of these things?
I don't know. Okay. What's next? Okay. How about this one? Mountain Dew Cherry Freestyle.
Cherry. I think that's real, isn't it?
A berry lime variant exclusive. No, that's fake. What I was reading from was Mountain Dew Berry Monsoon. All right. What's the time? Okay, I think we're 20 minutes. Okay, I think we can end the segment. You've lost. You got one
bad
point,
at this.
right?
Yeah, I'm bad at this.
Well, the thing is, you could look at real ones that look like shit and then just riff on them very slightly, and you get something that's indetectable. Like, okay, just let me launch off three of these. Mountain Dew Berry Shock Freeze, Mountain Dew Electric Charge, Hard Mountain Dew Brian. That one was fake.
Hard Brian
that needs to be real. Okay, so but you know what else needs to be real is soda. Kevin, do you have the Pepsi?
Yeah, let me grab it.
Does Ariel want to try this? Is she around?
She's not right now. She can maybe be here next time, but
all right. Ariel wanted to, Kevin's getting the soda. Ariel wanted to try the Pepsi. But okay, so Kevin's showing off the Pepsi.
Yeah.
Kevin
this is artificial marshmallow flavored Pepsi.
Kevin sent me a Chat GPT Tinder profile. It says 30. That's too young. Okay, it says
everyone lies, I guess.
Dice emoji, dragon emoji, Spencer, 30, wizard emoji, microphone emoji, purple crystal ball emoji, world famous dungeon master and creative. This is way too long, by the way. I don't think this many will fit. Creative mastermind headphones emoji, Harmontown podcast alum and Harmon Quest creator brain emoji, great minds with Dan Harmon innovator leaf emoji, proudly far left and compassionate advocate star emoji, 6'4" tall introverted but fiery when it counts, looking for someone who like, what do you call that, like the painter's palette emoji, appreciates art, creativity and storytelling, speech bubble emoji, enjoys deep conversations and exploring new ideas, world like globe emoji, shares a passion for social justice and equality, another different star emoji, isn't afraid to embrace their inner nerd, rainbow emoji, is open-minded, adventurous, and loves to laugh. Let's embark on an epic quest together, conquering dungeons and fighting for what we believe in. We'll create our own adventure with you as the heroine and me as your trusty guide. Let's roll the dice and see where fate takes us. Swipe right to join me in a journey filled with dice emoji, heart emoji. On a journey filled with laughter, love, and endless possibilities. Crystal ball emoji, sparkles emoji. It's not bad. I think the end gets a little too crazy, but it's not. I mean, I don't think it's great, but it seems fine. Like, it seems, I get it. I don't think I'd want to use this, though. What do you think?
I don't know. I would maybe take out.
I'd try it for an experiment. Well, but yeah, I'd fuck with it. What were you going to take out?
I'd say take out the mention of great minds and say something like, and you can see me on the hit show Community or something, just to really dig that in,
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe there's a fun fact emoji that we can use. All right. You want to smell this Peepsy, or do you want me to smell the Peepsy?
You smell it first.
I'm about to smell this Peepsy. You know, when I was a kid, I was taking a bath, and my brother peed in my mouth. And it smelled a lot like this. No, this just smells like marshmallows and Pepsi. I don't know what else to say. It does smell vaguely like Peeps more than just generic marshmallows. Like, you know, something about Peeps, you can smell that kind of yellow crystal sugar outside. Like, you smell that a little bit, which is a bit different than the normal marshmallow smell.
Yeah, it's a caramelized sugar smell a little bit with.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are Peeps supposed to taste like even? Are they
They're just
fruity?
Marshmallows, but they're gross marshmallows. They just taste like really bad, terrible quality, gross marshmallows. That's how I would describe Peeps. Peeps are Peeps make candy corn look like fucking Butterfingers, dude. Like, Peeps are like the bottom of the barrel garbage confection. Like, and I don't mean that by they taste nasty. I mean that by like the build quality. It's just absolute trash. Like, it's the worst possible version of a marshmallow, a concept that's really easy to execute successfully. You know, I think if they used like good tasting marshmallow, they'd be a good concept, but you can't appreciate them because they just taste like shit. I don't know. I think the kind of colored sugar tastes a bit stronger, but it's just, they're gross. They're just gross, and they shouldn't be gross. They should taste like fucking marshmallows. Fiery when it counts. Do you want to try the Peepsy?
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Okay, Kevin's gonna try it first. I'm gonna narrate while Kevin tries it. Kevin's tasting. Kevin's looking off. A man has entered the frame with Kevin. two people are in frame.
This is not good. This is not. It kind of tastes like flat Pepsi with a little bit of almost like a not root beer flavor, but like it's just, I don't know. It's just overall bad.
So to me, it tastes kind of vanilla cokey, which I don't mind. Thinking about it kind of like in terms of a vanilla Coke, I kind of like it because it's kind of Pepsi and you get this kind of just more creamy, some other note. It's not great. It's Pepsi. I'd probably rather have a vanilla Coke. I think it kind of works. I think the flavors don't mesh. They're very separate. It's like you have the Coke flavor, and I don't know. This is like synesthesia or whatever. I mean, it's not, but I have like very clearly the image of the flavor as this kind of like arrow that's pushing strongly ahead, like that's the Coke, the cola flavor, and then the marshmallow flavor seems like a curved arrow that's like going around to the side. It's like just kind of coming in at the side. It's like, I'm marshmallow coming in, and it's like this really weird, like it's like I'm coming in here, it's like I'm wedging, it's like this weird, like I'm forcing in with the marshmallow flavor, this really weird flavor that comes in from the side. Hard to describe, but it's a very clear impression I'm getting.
I love how you can visualize tastes like this, you know, like how some people like, you know, say that different numbers have colors or you can like visualize sounds and things like you do this with taste. Like, and I've never seen anyone pull that off before.
Well, that's the thing is like, you know, people have like real synesthesia, and I don't think it is, but it does, like, it definitely conceptualize the flavors as being like, cause you know, you hear the term body, and I think the term body, like this flavor has body to it. I think it invokes like a form, you know, like some sort of, not necessarily like a human form, but some sort of physical shape, you know. And I think like I kind of impose different elements as kind of like coming into that shape almost, you know. And then you can get more poetic from there. But like for instance, I don't generally think of flavors as being arrows in any sense, but yeah, I do have this really distinct like curved kind of coming in from the side, like a weird hooked punch kind of angle. But yeah, maybe that is a different kind of synesthesia. I don't know. I wouldn't say it is, just because I would never want to be accused of trying to seem interesting by adopting.
That should be on your profile. I should never be accused of trying to be interesting.
I almost spit up my Peepsy. That's what I said when my brother pissed in my mouth. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. We got one more thing. What's new? We got a TikTok segment. What's new on TikTok? What is new on TikTok? I can't even think of it. There's always something new on TikTok, you know. Man, you know, one thing that's great about TikTok is in the comments, people have like the most specific comments. Like they might be kind of like stuff you've picked up or heard somewhere else or something, but they feel so unique. It's like you had to have thought it up in the moment because it's like the perfect roast, but they're not even necessarily roasts. They're just like really funny quirks, you know, like someone posted a picture of them flipping someone off or their hand with a really really long middle finger. Like they, for some reason, they just had a really long middle finger. And then like one of the comments was just was like bro flips people off in uppercase or something with caps lock on or something like that. And it's just like, it's so specific. But that's what's great about TikTok is they get these really really good things. But that's not like a trend. The trend that's happening is, you know, last week I talked about like the kind of sexual harassment that goes on TikTok, like the kind of, you know, catcalling or whatever. And this is, I don't know, I guess more wholesome. Whereas people just say these really big, flowery, like romance kind of like historical kind of flirtatious things. Like they'd say like, you know, like if your beauty was the sun, then I would fight to keep the stars out of the skies so that I might gaze upon your luxurious vigilance, you know, for all eternity until the burns out from my what, you know, like just getting really really flowery with it. So that's happening on TikTok as people propositioning women with really, so it's a lot better than like what amounts to like I have a boner or I just masturbated while watching this TikTok, or you know, the kinds of stuff that people post on TikTok. So, you know, that's a trend. But we also got these Japanese Skittles, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Well, did you want to weigh in on the TikTok, Kevin, before we transition to the Skittles?
I mean, it's great that if people are going to be propositioning, they're doing it in a better way. But I kind of, I wish people just wouldn't proposition at all.
Yeah, but you know, who knows? Maybe people like it. I don't know. Who knows? So certainly, there's people that like to be complimented, but what I'm talking about is different than compliments. Well, I think it is. Maybe it's not. Who knows? How'd you like that burp, Kevin? I should put that
was
on
surprising. That had some reverb to it.
What if the third picture in my Tinder profile? What if the third picture in my Tinder profile is a Bored Ape NFT photo? You know, it's just like someone's Bored Ape, as if it was mine. You know, that would be so good. Now that I think you'd only get the right people if you had something like that in your profile. Okay, sorry. Okay. What about the Skittles, huh? Do you have the Skittles?
Yes. So these are Skittles from China. These are yogurt flavored Skittles.
Whoa.
And these came
really, really light colored.
Yeah. Go ahead. These came as a gift from a while back from our friends at the Exotic Soda Company.
Yeah.
That gave us a coupon code to give to everybody. They didn't pay us for anything, just sent us snacks. But if you go to exoticsodaco.com, you can buy some of these. And if you use the promo code That Happens, you get, I think, 15% off your order.
Yeah, so if you want to save some money. They don't still listen to these, do they?
I don't know.
Yeah. Me neither. Courageous sherbet, real flavor. What the fuck? All right. Okay, so let's try these. These probably taste kind of courageous sherbety, I guess, right? I'm gonna go first.
So they're almost like Easter pastel colored. I don't know if I can. Let me try to grab a couple.
Yeah, they're very lightly colored.
Yeah, they're very pastel looking. Okay, let me give these a try too.
They're so chewy. I forgot how chewy they are.
Oh, they are.
I'm gonna take this bolus out of my mouth. Now I can podcast. That's what you call a a chewed up wad of food is a bolus. Fun fact. Put that on my Tinder profile. But it's not very strong. Did you get some chews off? It's not very strong in the yogurt dimension. You do get some yogurt, but it's not very yogurty.
No, it just seems like a weaker Skittle. Like a more delicate flavored Skittle.
Yeah. It's very lightly creamy.
They're good. I'd eat these.
I'd say they almost taste a bit more like tropical Skittles than the tropical berry ones than normal ones, where it's like the mildness just gets it a bit. I don't know.
It tastes a little bit like the tropical Starbursts, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are good. I'd eat these.
Mountain Dew Energized. Oh,
they
that
all
one
sound
was
fake.
Introduced to Australian KFCs. It doesn't say what the flavor is, though. It's a caffeinated variant. I think you couldn't do I think in some countries you can't do Mountain Dew with caffeine because it wasn't brown or something. So maybe Mountain Dew Energized was just Mountain Dew with caffeine in it that you could eat at KFC in Australia. Well, what do you know? Really makes you think. I like it. It's kind of fun. I think what I'm responding to in this profile, this Tinder profile, is I like that the AI says that I'm proudly far left and compassionate advocate. I think that's really nice.
Hey.
Because I wouldn't say that about myself. But it's nice that a computer thinks that maybe I would,
Well, I mean, this is the same model that I trained on listening to all of Harmontown and all of That Happens and everything else. So it picked that up by itself on you. So
it also picked up that Tinder profiles use a lot of emojis, I guess.
Yes. Normally, I would assume that's more of a women's profile thing than a men's thing, but I think that might grab you some attention.
Yeah, maybe it would be cool. But yeah. Any last words, Kevin? There's a bomb I planted under your chair.
No, nothing I can think of really.
I want to know what Dan thinks about all this AI stuff, because I remember I actually was skeptical. I remember there was a time years ago or whatever where Dan was saying that he thinks you could come up with a way to automate storytelling using the story circle and stuff. And I was always like, come on, man, how are you gonna fucking but this AI stuff, it's but not just the AI stuff, which I think is still, it's still a long way, but just seeing how fast it's improved so quickly, it's I could believe in 10 years, who even knows, so it's so in 10, 20 years, it's then I could see, maybe it writing, a TV episode, but as a result, Dan was saying that years ago, he thought that was happening before we saw any of this AI stuff. So I'm just curious if he thinks it's stupid, or if he's worried about it as an industry threat, or if he thinks it's the cool, the kind of thing he was imagining when he was talking about that stuff. I'm curious.
I mean, I think we're still at the bottom of the hockey stick for how much this is going to disrupt the world.
100%.
We're still just in the baby steps of this, and it's already, causing a lot of chaos.
Mostly just freaking people out. It's not making huge, massive results. The art is, the text isn't. I mean, I guess the text is moving in the business world because people are plugging it in with customer service, I guess. That's probably going to be the most immediate impact.
Yeah.
But that's not big. That's still pretty small scale. Just in terms of bigness of idea, in terms of scale of shift, I definitely agree, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if you watched just a couple weeks ago, John Oliver did a show about AI. And one of the things that he said, which I think was pretty insightful, is that a lot of people are worried that, this is going to put lawyers out of business. And it's not. But what it's going to do is make it so that the lawyers who are using AI are going to outcompete the ones who don't. It's going to become a necessary part of the job. And we may end up needing less paralegals and things like that, but that may open up other jobs as well. And I don't think we're at the point right now where we can predict at all what's going to happen here, other than just that it's going to disrupt so much.
Well, what really are they doing in the legal department? Like, just specifically, because I don't know, like, obviously it can do something that some idiot would look at and say, like, yeah, this looks right. But does that mean it would be compellingly legal, or actually, quote precedent accurately to from a useful, like, legal standpoint? Or
well, yeah, I mean, a lot of legal work is just boring research, digging through dusty old books or online or whatever. And there really is no good way so far of automating this, other than like keyword searching, which just brings up a million results that you have to dig through. And even then, once you think you found something, has something happened since then that, made that irrelevant and things like that, where asking ChatGPT or any of the other similar things a legal question, it's not 100% right yet, but it's very close. Like a lawyer friend of mine was playing with it with me a while back, and we were asking it some like hard, like almost like trick questions, and it was getting most of them right. And he's like, yeah, this worries me for my job,
Well, if it's just intelligent search, that doesn't seem insidious. Like, obviously I get how it cuts down on the amount of like research that's going to be done, but that seems good. I think someone mentioned one time that there are insidious ways to use research. You could, for instance, like, I don't know. I think someone said you could go through an entire back catalog of like a podcast and look for racist stuff. And then it'll be like, oh, this seems racist. And it'll just say, like, we found it. And so then it's like, you don't have to listen. You could just be like, oh, can I get someone canceled with an AI? But I don't know how big that threat is. That doesn't seem. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a big deal at all. But that's our show, everybody. Oh boy. I don't know, man. I don't have anything to plug. I don't want to plug anything. I'm sick of doing anything anymore. I need to keep doing all the stuff that I'm doing, but now I am sick of it. What about you, Kevin?
I'm sick of it too. No, nothing to plug. We've got stuff on Shop Home Video every Sunday. Watch us, shophomevideo.com, and come talk to us on Reddit at That Happens Pod on Reddit. And yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, talk to us. Someone. I was gonna look at Neurosama because someone in the Reddit said, "Oh, I want to know what Spencer thinks of Neurosama." So maybe we'll do that next week. Because again, if you write something in the Reddit, no one says anything, so your voice has a lot of weight. But as always, we like to end the podcast at the same time as we like to end the podcast at the same time as we do every show. So it's about 6:44. So as always, have a good evening.
Starburns Audio.